It's episode 2 of the Forsey Sports Boxing Report, exclusively on Bayloric Worldwide TV. We've got a great show coming up for you today. We've got Peter Fury coming on, telling us what happened with the Deontay Wilder, Huey Fury offer. We've also got Ingram Jones coming on. We're going to talk in depth about what's going on in the UK at the moment. But to start things off, we've got famed commentator and the main man of In This Corner podcast, Mike Mittman joins me. How's things going, Mike?
Great to be with you, Adam, and congratulations on your new venture, and honored to be on your show.
Excellent. Well, it's a real pleasure to have you, Mike. Well, let's kick things off. Obviously, we had the big fight, Paulie Malignaggi against Danny Garcia last weekend. Danny Garcia came through victorious. Paulie Malignaggi announced a very expected retirement after the fight. First of all, it'd be great to get your thoughts. Obviously, you're over that side of the water. What did you make of the fight?
Well, actually, the fight went pretty much as I thought it would be. I had the opportunity to announce many of Paulie Malignaggi's early fights before he won the title, and he's a good friend and a real scientific fighter. Also had the pleasure of announcing some of Danny Garcia's fights. I know Danny very well. I know his father very well, and a good guy. Danny's when he's on his game, he's as good as you get. He's very tough. He throws a lot of punches. He'll stay on top of you. Paulie is a slick fighter. Yeah. He's got the jab. He's got the movement. The only thing that I was afraid of, and that came to fruition, is that Paulie is not a power puncher, and he didn't have what it would take to hurt Garcia and keep him off. If you can't, as they say, put a licking on Garcia, he's going to keep coming after you. And Paulie, and especially at this point in his career, I mean, Paulie is not, he's past his peak of his career, and he certainly didn't have the punch at this point to keep Garcia from charging in, and Garcia was unloading those bombs. And when Garcia does this, when you allow Garcia to control a fight, he's about as good as you get out there.
Yeah, I agree with most of that, mate. Well, it's let's talk a bit, about the two fighters and where they go from there. Danny Garcia, personally, I think he's a very underrated fighter. I think him moving up, and I think a lot of people don't realise he's a natural 147 fighter. So, I know his last couple of performances haven't been the world's greatest, but the guy seems to find a way. And you say you know him well, so it'd be great to get your thoughts on this. First of all, the weight thing. Do you think that's going to help him? And secondly, how big of a star do you think he can be? Because he's now 30 and odd and 0. He keeps finding a way to win. What do you think the future holds for Danny Garcia, and how much of a great do you think he can be?
I think he's got a great future, and the weight shouldn't be a problem. That's no big deal. To move up, he's probably had, some issues trying to make the weight in his last fights in his last year or two. Moving up a few pounds to the welterweight division, no big deal for Danny. He's got the size, he's got the power, and he's a real well-conditioned fighter. His dad and his trainers keep him in great shape. I'll tell you, every time he comes into the ring, he's in excellent condition, which is a plus for Danny. He never comes in out of shape, unlike some other fighters, and he comes to fight, and he fights best when he's hurt. If you hit him, you hurt him, he really gets tough, and he can take a good punch, and he'll just keep coming right at you. He knows how to, cut the ring off on an opponent, and I think, he's an underrated fighter. But if you take a look at his record, he's fought some really good caliber opponents. And I think he's got a very bright future. And I don't care who they put him in with, he'll give anybody a tough fight.
Yeah, well, what's Danny Garcia? He's about 27, 28, isn't he? So he's just about to probably come about into his peak.
27.
27. So, yeah, he's just about to come into his peak. So, yeah, I agree with most of what you're saying there. I think I think
he hasn't hit his peak yet at 27. For a welterweight, that's a year away maybe from his peak. And especially moving up a little bit. And I don't think we've seen him peak.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully not. And it's a great point you make there about when he gets hit, he kind of gets better. I think the Matisse fight's a great example of that. And Amir Khan, he's got the ability to hurt people. He got him out there straight away. Well, moving on to his father and trainer. Obviously, he's a big character, and he has a bit of a joke around with the media. How do you rate him as a trainer? Because he does get quite a bit of criticism from certain people in the news.
Well, his father's a character. He's a really good guy. I've had the pleasure of being around him many, many times. He likes to provoke opponents. He likes to provoke a lot of people, but that's what he does. Sometimes tongue-in-cheek, but he does that. He's good at that. And, you can say what you want about him as a trainer, but the proof is in the pudding, and look what he did. Look what he's done. So I'd have to say he's doing a great job.
Okay, yeah. You know more than me. Obviously, you have a relationship there, and you see what goes on behind the scenes. And to be fair, you can't.
And let me say, Adam, his son trusts him, and that's the most important thing. A fighter must have complete trust in their trainer, and he trusts his father. Therefore, when his father tells him to adjust to this, adjust to that, he's not going to question it. He has complete trust in his dad, and he's going to make those adjustments.
Yeah, he's definitely, he can improve. I think Malignaggi said himself in the press conference after the fight that Danny Garcia is a fighter that's still improving with every fight and sort of growing as a fighter. So I think it'd be interesting to see. Who would you like to see him fight next? Obviously, Porter's being talked about a lot. I personally think that's the best fight for him. If I was his advisor, manager, I think it's a fight he can win. It's not a foregone conclusion by any means.
I'm sorry, which fight is this?
The Sean Porter fight.
Sean Porter. That would be a great fight.
It would be.
I like Showtime. Sean Porter, but I don't know. I have my questions. What happens when Porter gets hit? Is his stamina everything that it should be? I know Garcia has the stamina. I'll tell you, when Garcia puts the pressure on Porter, who knows? But I think that'll be a good fight. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, I would as well. I think a lot of people as well. And both Al Haymon fighters, probably a fight that definitely could be done. As for the loser in the fight, you say you had the pleasure of calling most of Malignaggi's fights. Where do you rate him? People were talking about his career, and he got a bit of stick in his career, and he was kind of used by a lot of people as the opponent a lot of the times. I give him great credit. He took on anyone that he could fight, any big name. He was quite happy to get in there. He was very honest about his abilities, especially as he's got older. He did act like a bit of a prat when he was over here fighting Hatton, but which fighters don't, as they're trying to sell tickets. Where do you rate him?
Paulie, I rate as a great boxer, a superb boxer. He's kind of like a will-o'-the-wisp, a Willie Pep type of fighter. He never did have a big punch, couldn't hurt you, but he could, use that left hand like a paintbrush. He could move in and out, dart in, dart out, side to side. He was a really slick boxer. If he'd had a big punch, you probably could have put him up there at the top, but he did not have that punch. So he made the best out of his boxing ability. And for people that appreciate the pure science of boxing, I rate Paulie as one of the best. Like I said, if he had a punch, wow. It would have been an altogether different story. But he didn't. He did the best with what he had. And his knowledge of boxing is actually superb, and he's been able to translate that into a good career as a color commentator, because he can analyze a fighter. That was one of his skills. Yeah. He could analyze an opponent and pick them apart by that analyzation, and he's still doing that on television.
Excellent. It's great to get your thoughts on that. Obviously, it's something you know a lot about. Well, moving on from that, it's just been announced actually that Mayweather Berto is going to be the fight that is apparently going to be Mayweather's last fight. Probably one of the worst kept secrets in boxing recently. It's on pay-per-view as well. A lot of people have been reporting this was going to be a free fight. First of all, what do you make of this whole thing? Give us a quick your view.
I don't make much of it, to be honest with you. Two reasons. Number one, there's nobody really believes this is Mayweather's last fight.
Yeah.
Fighters are famous for retiring. My television co-host, Larry Holmes, retired 16 times. Fighters have done 20 sometimes. You know, when a fighter said this is his last fight, he means this is his last fight for the time being. So there is no last fight. And especially in Mayweather's category, they will not allow him to go away because they'll keep coming up with bigger and bigger checks. So he won't go anywhere. Second of all, he damaged himself, not necessarily he did it, but Pacquiao. In the Pacquiao fight, people paid a lot of money for that fight. They were hoping for a great fight. They got nothing. They got absolutely nothing. And a lot of people walked away with a bad taste in their mouth. And that only hurts pay-per-view. If they had given him a good fight, that could have been the impetus to help pay-per-view. It was not. It was a very damaging fight. And I can tell you one thing, a lot of the fight fans that I get a chance to chat with on a regular basis was saying, you know, it'll be a cold day in August when, you know, they shell out more money on pay-per-view to see Floyd Mayweather. You'd have to make it a spectacular fight. Andre Berto, a good fighter, not the most exciting fighter in the world, and I don't think it's not going to capture the imagination. I think it would have been a good fight on free television, pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I can tell you now, and I've been in the business for a long time, it's going to be very disappointing numbers on the buys.
Yeah, I think that's clear. It's funny actually. To me, this kind of seems like a keep busy fight almost, with him not really retiring, and that kind of is obviously being used as the model. The Mayweather type retirement, his last fight, is probably the selling point of the fight, and then obviously he's going to come back. Who do you think Mayweather's maybe giving the younger fighters here an opportunity to get better? Do you see, you know, he's been one of the hardest fighters to beat in recent times. Is there anyone out there who you think can beat him?
Well, there's a bunch of fighters that could give him a shot. You know, he's slowing down. He's still very, very smart. He's probably one of the great defensive fighters, not the greatest of all time, no. You know, what about Pernell's Sweet Pete Whitaker, a friend of mine? I call him, you know, really one of the great defensive fighters of all time. Sugar Ray Leonard, great defensive fighter. You know, he's up there, but...
Yeah. You look at the fighters Leonard was fighting at the time and the consistency of how long fighters, and you're talking in a time when there were 15 rounds as well. I don't really buy into this, and everyone's talking about this record Mayweather's doing. I don't believe it's any record at all. You look at Cesar Chavez, he went like 89-0 or something. You know, like it's what do you make of that? Is this people seem to be making a record up out of nowhere?
Well, it's like an accountant. You know, an accountant can play with numbers and they can come up with just about anything that they want to come up with. You know, the government does the same thing. They'll throw numbers at you, and you can believe it or not believe it. You know, anybody can pick numbers, so don't get all caught up on that, I always say, you know. But the main thing is I'd like to see him go out with a real great fight. And I still believe Pacquiao had the ability to have given him a good fight.
Yeah.
It didn't happen with the shoulder situation, and, you know, that's another story. But there's some, you know, maybe down the road, who knows what could happen. You know, moving up, maybe a Triple G, would be exciting and interesting. One could come down, one could come up. This David Lemieux I really like. That's another fight I'm excited. Now, there's a fight, if you're going to ask me, would I pay anything to see Floyd Mayweather and Andre Berto? Probably most fight people inside would tell you no. Inside fight people would pay to see Lemieux and Triple G.
Yeah.
They know that's going to be a fight.
Yeah. Well, I believe that is on pay-per-view, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. So what do you make of that compared to... Do you think that's a really good pay-per-view fight?
That's a great pay-per-view fight.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that fight.
And don't go to the refrigerator. Don't get out the pizza. Just stick by the LED flat screen, because that's going to be a great fight. Mayweather Berto. I think you're going to see a lot of shoulder movement from both fighters. You're going to see dipping of the shoulders and side-to-side movement and a good defensive fight. Are you going to see a spectacular all-out war? No way.
Oh, great to get your views on that, mate. Well, finally, I just wanted to ask, get your views. Obviously, we've got a massive heavyweight title fight coming up involving one of the UK's heavyweights against Vladimir Klitschko. We're all very excited about it over in this part of the world. First of all, I'd just like to quickly get your thoughts on, do you think Tyson Fury's got a chance? And, a lot of people... For me, this is becoming like, I'm more excited about this fight than I have been for about any other fight in about probably the last 5 or 6 years. So what do you guys make of it over in America at the moment?
Gee, I guess I better not say anything bad about Tyson Fury, or they're going to hate me in your country. I know he's a hero over there, and all I got to say is, Tyson Fury has some good points. He has some bad points. So does Klitschko. I don't think he's he's been probably the luckiest champion that ever laced on boxing shoes. But Tyson Fury's, his chin, we don't know, if he gets a good right hand from Klitschko, who knows? His stamina, that's been suspect, but so is Klitschko. So I would think if I were Tyson Fury, I would probably go for broke and try to put it to Klitschko in the early rounds. Because certainly when you're Tyson Fury's size, obviously you've got power, obviously you can hit. So I would, if I were his trainer, tell him to not let Klitschko get set, come out from the opening bell, round one, and keep Klitschko going backwards. Fury's got the reach in which to do that. Klitschko hasn't, fought anybody, Tyson Fury's size. So he's going to be fighting a big guy in there. I would jab, keep Klitschko going backwards, try to put some combinations together. And I do think Klitschko can be hurt. I know he can be hurt. That's if anybody bothers to throw a punch to try to hit him. And if Fury does that, I think he's got a good shot. If he doesn't, if he does like a lot of Klitschko opponents and just, saves the fight to the later rounds, he may not see the later rounds because Klitschko will take over and come out with that 1-2 combination, the jab with the right hand behind it, and look out. If I were Tyson Fury's trainer, I'd tell him to push Klitschko back from the opening bell.
Yeah. Okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. And quickly we'll end on this. I'm personally very excited about the heavyweight division at the moment. I think there's some great things going on. I think Wilder is, an exciting fighter. I know there's flaws in a lot of some of these guys, but I think a lot of them are very exciting. And we've got Anthony Joshua over here, and lots of other great heavyweights coming through over the world. Are you excited about the division?
Well, I'm more excited about it now than I was 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I think you've got some great potential now and some really, good fighters out there. You mentioned Deontay Wilder. I still think a lot about Deontay Wilder, even forgetting the last fight. He's young. He's got a lot to learn. but when he learns it and puts everything together, I think he'll be a good champion. Klitschko's on his way out. That's going to open up some doors, unless Tyson Fury takes him out before he retires. And wouldn't that be great, for your country if Tyson Fury would win the championship? I think that would be great because, the British boxing fans traditionally have been some of the best fight fans, in boxing history. They love their fights, and for them to have a heavyweight champion would be really great.
Yeah, we're cleaning up at the moment for world titles. It's never been anything like this in British boxing. The amount of world champions and even people fighting for world titles, it's mind-boggling. It's really unbelievable, to be perfectly honest with you. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Mike. It's been great to catch up with you. Great to have you on. Great to get your views from what's going on over there. And thank you so much for your time, my friend.
Adam, a pleasure, and would love to speak with you again soon.
Excellent. You take care. Right, I'm joined by Peter Fury. How are we going, Peter?
Yep, all good.
All good. Right, I've got so much I want to talk to you about. So, first of all, I'll get straight into it. Huey Fury, Deontay Wilder for the WBC heavyweight title on the 26th of next month. Is this on by your Twitter account? That looks so. And BoxRec.
Well, yeah. We just got an email from one of our contacts over in America offering us this fight in 4 weeks. So I just said if we can have 7-8 weeks, we would do it. So as of that, it's what it is, really, isn't it? So we'll see what happens. I've not heard anything more than that.
Okay, so it's on box. So it's not signed and sealed. It's not.
No, definitely not. The BoxRec must know more than we do.
Okay. Okay. All right. I thought as much. Funnily enough, I thought as much. So you.
Don't get me wrong. Look, somebody contacted, somebody connected to us, an email asking if we wanted to fight in 4 weeks. I just replied and said no. If we can have 7 to 8 weeks, then we would.
Yeah. Okay. Well, of course. So do you think you might be able to pull that off? Like, could you put this maybe on the undercard of Tyson Klitschko?
Yeah, 100%. We'd love that.
Yeah.
It's not a problem at all for us. It's come to us. They've offered us a fight, so if we can get the right time frame, we'll take it. Yeah. So that's up to Wilder and his team.
Yeah. So obviously they know full well I'd like to think they knew full well that Huey fought only. There wouldn't be much, it's 4 weeks, it's not that far away at all. So, how did negotiations go from here? Did they just put it up and, do you know what I mean? It's all a bit strange.
It's all, well, if they're looking for an opponent, and then it's understandable. But basically, it's Wilder's a very good champion. He's a good fighter. Yeah. I've got a lot of respect for him and a lot of respect for his team. They're doing a great job. Basically, look, if ideally you is 2 or 3 years away, but notwithstanding that, for a WBC title fight, 100% he'd take it. He'd go in there to win it. So it'd be a chance in a lifetime thing, and he definitely wouldn't pass it up. So if we could have the 7 or 8 weeks, I see something on BoxRec 26th of September, no problem at all. So he'd be up for taking it. So basically, that's up for Wilder and his team if they want to do it. But definitely, as far as we're concerned, no problem at all.
Yeah, so you'd be up for doing it on the 26th as well?
Yeah, I think that gives us enough time.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Brilliant. Well, how was Huey when you told him about this? What did he get very excited or what? What, you know, it's a bit out of the blue, you must admit.
Not really. They're doing their job. They're professionals, aren't they? You know, they're doing a job every day. If you said to Huey, you know, Tyson's had to fall out, he's taking his place and fighting Vladimir, Huey wouldn't be interested. You know, they've both got that steely mentality. Yeah. You know, they don't. They're not overawed by anybody.
No. Okay. Well, this is interesting. It's like Wilder. You know, a lot of people have said his record's a bit pallid. You know, you say he's a good champion. A lot of, you know, obviously, this is all I've been talking about to a lot of friends within the boxing world since the news sort of came out. A lot of us were sort of under the impression Wilder hasn't fought anyone with the raw talent Huey's got. Would you agree with that?
Well, Huey's working on total boxing skills. His power is very underestimated because Huey is not sitting on his shots. He's not told to sit on his shots. He's told to box and get the rounds in. And don't forget, he's boxing people that doesn't fall over. You know, we're getting in tough opponents to go the 10 rounds. Because I'm not looking on impressing the public with one fight. I want to see Huey learn his boxing trade properly. Then he can sit down, move his feet back, hold the position, plant his shots. He's not being told to do that. So Huey's power is very underestimated. He can hit. And if he hits you correctly, he'll put you to sleep. You know, look, he hit Arias. You know, and Arias wobbled in the second round. He was hurt. You know, so, you know, he can punch. You know, but basically, when you look at Huey fighting, he's constantly moving. And he's moving and firing shots, which is a very, very difficult thing to do, as well as get power in him.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. So like I said, every fight's different, strategies are different, and you'll see a different Huey when he fights again in October. Okay.
All right, brilliant. Well, so talking about the Arias fight, I haven't spoke to you since then. What did you make of that fight?
I made okay of it. There's always room. Huey's a work in progress. You know, we're not saying he's the next WBC champion of the world. We're not saying he's the IBF or whatever. He's a work in progress. He's 20 years of age, and he's a work in progress. But the potential in him is phenomenal. You know, and you know, he will prove that. And you know, come October the 24th, you know, and he fights on Tyson's undercard, he will fight a top-ranked, at least a top-ranked 15 opponent, world-ranked opponent, and you know, so he will be moving the top 15 ranks after the 24th of October.
The thoughts and opinions there of Peter Fury, who I spoke to the other day. Moving on from this, well, we're not moving on from this. We're going to stay on this subject. I've got Ingram Jones joining me now. How's it going, Ingram?
How are you doing, my friend? Adam, how are things with you?
Yeah, I'm very good, mate. So let's go. No time to waste. We've got Huey Fury and Wilder. Obviously, I spoke to Peter yesterday. Although it is on BoxRec, and Peter's put a tweet out saying, kind of giving us an indication that the fight's on. And then I spoke to him, and it's nothing's confirmed. But they say they're well up for it. Like, first of all, do you think this is actually going to happen or not?
All right. Well, having spoken to Peter Fury, as you know, for a while now, almost 2 years, I think the most funniest quote that came out of him recently is, "There's no bottle jobs in this gym." And when he sort of said that, I kind of could hear him saying it. There's no bottle jobs in this gym. So I kind of looked at it two ways. I mean, like in a kind of hilarious way, I kind of looked at it as like, not disrespectful, kind of like, there's no bottle jobs in this gym. And there's Huey going, "You really want me to fight Wilder?" And his dad's going, "Yeah, there's no bottle jobs in this gym." And then Hugh's gone, "Okay, I'll fight Wilder then, fair enough." There was kind of that. And then I sort of thought to myself, the flip side, because I know of recent times there's been a lot of noise from particularly social media, unfair noise about Tyson Fury and now Huey Fury, and you know, the Furies are not good enough, blah 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 blah, and you know, you're going to get criticism wherever you are in the world. So I think that's kind of like a Peter Fury setting out his stall and saying, look, we're in this, we're fighting people. This is our nature. This is our DNA. We're not mugged. We're not trying to mug you off. We're not trying to get political with you. We'll fight you. We will fight you. We've got no doubts. We want to fight you. So whether he fights Wilder or not, if I were Deontay Wilder and they were talking about seriously wanting to fight me, only being 20 years old, and having really fought nobody in the top 10, I'd be concerned. I'd actually look at it and think, damn, he actually wants to fight me. Give us 8 weeks and we'll take you.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'd be concerned. So, I mean, Huey's got a very good left jab. We know Deontay Wilder has he struggles with the left jab. He has no way of blocking the left jab. He sort of pulls his chin back from the left jab. So Huey's got all the dimensions and boxing skills to do a job. But, you know, he's young. He's 20 years old. And there's not man strength. You're still a boy. You're not a man. You don't have that physical strength. Whereas Deontay Wilder's a man. He's a physical presence. And the one thing Deontay has is a big punch. But, you know, you can negate that with having a very good jab, good boxing movement. Huey's got good movement. He's got good footwork, puts his punch together very nicely. But for the young man, I think, given 8 weeks to fight Wilder, it's chancy because, again, if you get it right, you become world heavyweight champion. If you become world heavyweight champion, do you really want to be fighting Povetkin in your first defence?
No, yeah. You clearly don't want to fight Povetkin. So let's go to that point about the 8 weeks Huey would need to prepare to have a good chance of winning this world title. So on BoxRec it's saying the 26th, I think it is, of next month. So what we know, that gives us about 8 weeks, 7-8 weeks.
Wait, didn't BoxRec also tell us that Sugar Shane Mosley was going to fight Kell Brook?
Yeah, he said it.
I remember seeing that on
BoxRec
as well. I mean,
BoxRec is not the government of boxing. It doesn't make I think some people get that mixed up a bit. BoxRec do make mistakes. They do a really good job, and we will use it. But yeah, so this is on there. So this has been put on BoxRec. So first of all, I don't know why this is being put on BoxRec, and then obviously Peter's tweeted it out. So there's 8 week camps there. So it looks like to me, it looks like the Furies have gone, right, we've put a kind of an idea here to you, and everything's ready to go. All you got to do is send over the paperwork.
But it doesn't make sense to me because way before then there was murmurs of them fighting a guy called Andre, somebody who's not even in the top 40 of the WBC ratings. That's who Wilder was meant to fight. And last weekend, I believe there was a picture of him and Wilder squaring up against one another. So it's a voluntary defence, and it's more likely you're going to fight this. He's going to fight Andre somebody. I don't know his guy's last. I can't even pronounce his last name. I think he's Polish, but he's not rated. He's ranked number 40, and from what a lot of people tell me, he doesn't take a punch very well. So.
Well, that's what
I see is more realistic is going to happen. So I don't know where this Huey thing really has come from, and where they were trying to fit this fight in. Whether they thought Deontay was going to fight, because Deontay was going to fight this guy in September, I believe.
Yeah. So, it was going to be earlier, wasn't it? All I do know for certain is that Peter Fury said to me in an interview, I'll be playing a segment of it on this show. He got sent over paperwork with an offer to fight Wilder. And they said, give us 8 weeks and we're more than up for it. So then, and this date's been put on there. So that
4 weeks. I mean, you hear about so many fighters pulling out of fights. Some fighters get 1 week, 2 weeks, a couple of days, you know. So it's in boxing, and the one thing I will say, it's not Deontay Wilder that sent the letter to Peter Fury. It's Deontay Wilder's team. So that's Haymon and Haymon's management, not Deontay Wilder. So let's get that corrected. In the sense that a lot of boxing fans will give Deontay Wilder a lot of stick for this.
Deontay, you sent an email over to. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah. But what we can give Deontay stick for, if he does go ahead and make this defence against this guy who's ranked 40th. Not even in the top 20. That's something that's worth stick, because I don't know when the last time this guy's fought. Never heard this guy in my life. And for the heavyweight champion of the world to make a voluntary defence against a guy who's not even in the top 40, it's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I'm getting a little bit short with Wilder, personally. I thought his performance was good against Stiverne. I, along with a lot of other people, had Stiverne beating him. And, you know, he did well. He went the full rounds. He dominated the fight. He did very, very well. And then this Mexican guy, he didn't even fight that well for a start. You know, and
Molina exposed him.
Is this basically? Do you think this is an example of them offering Huey Fury the fight? Oh, we'll easily be able to beat Huey Fury, and he's got the name Fury. Is that? Do you think there's some arrogance from Team Wilder there in terms of?
Look,
in my opinion,
look at it this way. Look at it this way. If Fury refuses to fight Wilder, he can actually say, I was going to fight Huey Fury. Now, he's a ranked opponent, but he refused me. And that's what it comes out like. So in the papers, you get Huey Fury refused to fight Deontay Wilder. See that? Instead of you hearing the truth here, and it's like 4 weeks given to prepare for a fight to fight Deontay Wilder. So, you know how stories get fabricated. So I can't see, honestly, Peter taking a fight in 4 weeks' notice. I said I take it, you refused. 8 weeks, they'll take it. But, you know, on the up and up, if you really want to give Huey the best opportunity to become world champion, would you give him 4 weeks? You know you wouldn't. So it's all in Deontay's favour. And you've got to ask yourself the question, why are they targeting Huey and Fury? Why Huey Fury?
Well, he's got the name Fury, hasn't he? So
why not Bright Jennings?
Yeah, I
said that's a US fight.
I agree. I'd rather see him fight Stiverne again, personally. I'd prefer to see that. But yeah, it's weird.
Or why not Mike Pavetta?
This whole thing's been weird. This whole Huey Wilder thing. It's been really strange.
I wouldn't. I personally would pay attention to him. I tell you, the best thing that's come out of this for Huey Fury is getting some publicity. Horrible. He needs some publicity because he's fighting decent opposition. He's fighting decent opposition. You know, he fought Rudenko. Rudenko was tough, strong, and arguably could have beaten Lucas Brown, who everybody's raving about Lucas Brown. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people are raving about Lucas Brown. So, you know, and Huey Fury did a number on Rudenko, to be honest.
Yeah, he did.
You know, he fought George Arias, and Arias, you know, is tough and strong. And it was a good fight for Huey to go through and learn. He's learning his trade. How many heavyweights?
To be fair, the George Arias fight, I was expecting a little bit more from Huey. I'm one of his biggest fans, but yeah, the Arias fight, I sort of give him a 6 out of 10 for that one.
But you know, it's not a big name, is
learning, yeah.
But what's your motivation for fighting George Arias? You know you're going to go around. You know you're hiding to nothing. If you lose, you're crap, and if you win, because it doesn't prove much more, but you're just going the distance. There's a guy to take you the distance, a learning fight. He'll learn a lot more from that than blasting somebody out in 32 seconds.
Yeah, which Peter said to you
and
me
many
times. Yeah. So finally on the Huey Fury point, like people talk about, a lot of people say he can be better than Tyson. What do you think? Well, how good do you think Huey can be? Can you think he can? Because
he can be better than Tyson.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly he can be better than Tyson, because how's Tyson now? He's 25, yeah?
25.
Right? Huey's got that Olympic, that World Championship behind him.
Yeah, he was world.
Tyson never had that, and that wasn't his fault, but Tyson didn't have that. So he's got that, he's back in. On top of that, remember, Huey Fury's had the beauty of sparring with the likes of, he's had the back of Tyson Fury's big fights. He's had the sparring on the back of that. So he's had Eddie Chambers, younger, so he's got a lot. He'll learn a lot from Tyson's mistakes. You know what I mean? So he's in a good place, Huey Fury, to learn, and different temperament to Tyson Fury.
Yeah, very different. Yeah, very contrasting characters, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
And out the ring, I might add.
Yeah, and Peter's his father.
Yeah.
So and then Tyson's the uncle, and Peter's the uncle of Tyson. So different dynamics there again. Your uncle ain't your dad. It's different. So you know, Peter probably could say to Huey, "Oi, you ain't doing that, and you ain't doing that." Whereas Tyson could say, "Wait, you ain't my dad, you're my uncle. Hold on a second. Whoa. You understand? He could say it. I'm not saying he would do that, but he could do that. So dynamics are different. So I think Huey Fury's got 5 more years. If it's 5 years between them, isn't it? I think Tyson's 25 or 26.
25, 26, yeah.
Yeah. So he's got 5 or 6 years to grow on Tyson Fury. All right, Huey has. You know, and let's say he's got 5 years before he even fights for a world title. Look at it that way.
Yeah, I know. That's interesting. Okay, let me ask you this. So we've got Cornish, White, Joshua, all them guys. You chuck Huey in that. What happens?
Yeah.
What happens?
I'd like to see Huey fight McDermott. That's what I'd like to see Fury fight. I'd like to see him fight McDermott. I'd like to see him fight the loser of Joshua Cornish.
Yeah, okay.
And I'd like to see him fight the loser of Dillian White and Anthony Joshua. And then once he's cleaned all...
When they've all got their fights out of the way, that could be the perfect time for Huey to step towards that level.
And then once he's beat all those guys, the loser of all those fights, then the winner, once he's beat all those guys, so whoever it would be, the guys who've lost those fights, I'd get him to fight those fights, because then you've got a sort of trail as to how good he is and how he does against those guys who've lost. And then you've got Huey Fury versus whoever is around the winner who's winning these fights, so whoever it be. So that, I think that would be good, because it gives you a good measuring stick for where Huey Fury is, because whoever it is that's beating these guys would really be going somewhere in heavyweight boxing. And then, you know, you're not exposing him too soon to the heavyweight top 4, top 5 in the world, you know?
Yeah. Okay, interesting to get your thoughts. Well, let's move on from Huey and Wilder. Lee Selby, Lightning Lee Selby, today has signed with Al Haymon. Mm-hmm. Another British. We did a show on my channel a couple of weeks ago, and you did say there's going to be more to come. And Lee Selby, first of all, I just want to say you got to take your hats off to Sanagars for this, for what they've done for him. For someone who used to sell 50 tickets, 10 fights into his career, you've got a world champion. You know,
look, there's a good side and a bad side, and I can see a big negative, massive negative here.
Yeah, okay, let's get into that.
Positive, he's with Al Haymon, great. But Al Haymon doesn't give you personality. Al Haymon doesn't give you social media appeal. Al Haymon gets you fights. But here's an example of a fighter. Julius Jackson I saw him fight quite regularly.
Yeah.
You know, and only now, I think he's fighting again on September the 26th. I think he hasn't fought for a year. You've got to look at activity and Al Haymon fighters, how active they are. James DeGale won when he fight again. You know, how often has Deontay Wilder fought? You know, when you become an Al Haymon fighter, how often do you get to fight? And, you know, in a young fighter's career, signing with Al Haymon, you know, you want to be fighting regularly. And if Al Heyman's the man making the decision
you say
fight,
that, Ingram, because you're probably one of the first. Like, there are people who say it, but just like it's either you hate Al Haymon or you don't. And you've come up with a very good point here. And you know, would you say so? There are examples you can think of Al Haymon fighters who were signed by Al Haymon quite young and haven't quite taken off the way they're expected to. Danny Garcia is
Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia. There's two there, two guys, Danny Garcia and Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman, you'd have thought now after the Collabs fight, you'd have thought he would have blown up. That hasn't blown him up. In fact, some people say he's been exposed. I wouldn't say he's been exposed, but he's hit a ceiling. Same with Garcia. He's not getting any better. There's two fighters. They need to be fighting regularly. These guys seem to be fighting 3-4 times a year, at minimum, because, you want to fight regularly, you're keeping yourself sharp, you're learning new things, your momentum. And not a lot of Al Haymon fighters, I can tell you now, have got momentum. Momentum's a thing. 3-4 fights in a row, like, bam, I'm fighting this day, I'm fighting this date, I'm fighting this date, I'm fighting this date. Look at Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, he's fighting consistently. Do you know what I mean? Regularly. That's how you build a fan base, that's how you build... Look, Gennady Golovkin. How many fights are Gennady had this year? Look at Kovalev. How many fights has he had this year?
They're out a lot, aren't
Do you understand? Talk about momentum. So if you sign with Al Haymon, great, you sign with Al Haymon, and yes, you get paid, but momentum. Kell Brook is on the other side. He's with Eddie Hearn, right? Kell Brook, who's he fought this year? He's fought Frankie Gavin, and he fought Yo-Yo Dan.
It's doing my head in it, the whole
John, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So those two, right? They're talking about Amir Khan fight, but I know, Amir Khan's with Al Haymon.
Yeah.
Keith Thurman's with Al Haymon. Danny Garcia's with Al Haymon. So you understand here, Kell Brook has to make a move from Eddie Hearn over to Al Haymon. So if you want to see your fighters fight regularly, stay with your damn promoters. But if you stay with your damn promoters, there's no guarantee that you're going to get the big fights. That's what it seems like.
I think you're right there. As a fighter, yeah, it's very inconsistent. I suppose you've got to grab what you can. Okay, so as a UK fighter, like Haymon's only just started signing UK fighters, Frampton, Selby, DeGale. As a UK fighter, are you in a better position than an American fighter? Because UK fighters seem a bit more willing to go, it's like quite exciting. It's something they want to do in their career, go to America and fight. But you've also got other options at home. And Haymon and Hearn are known for having a good relationship. If you're Selby, I know in America you've kind of cut off. Yeah, go on.
Hold on. Haymon and Hearn have got a good relationship. If they have a good relationship, why is Brook and Khan not fighting? And I heard a story that Amir Khan has left Al Haymon.
I wanted to get onto that,
try and get a fight with. Yeah, exactly. So I'm not so sure if they have got a good. I think that's just I think people say I'm not sure if they have got a good relationship.
Okay, well they've got a relationship where they can put on fights together. If you look at let's
make it what? We'll make Amir Khan, Kell Brook. Make it happen. If it's a good relationship. USA and UK relations, make it happen.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Get these two guys to fight, or get Amir Khan to fight, Thurman. Make it happen.
So,
will the deals be the same for UK fighters as they would be for American fighters? That's the question. And these guys who are coming over to Al Haymon, have they got any sort of like Lee Selby? Yeah, he's a world champ, but nobody knows him, so he's got no profile. Unlike Keith Thurman, who had some of a profile joining Al Haymon, the guys who've got a profile will probably get more fights faster than guys who don't have a profile. Do you understand? Because it's their priority. So if they're the priority fighters, where do you come in? That if you're just a fighter who's got nobody knows you, you then have to be on network TV. It's like, well, okay, you're going to have to be on the undercard of somebody because you're not a big name. So you can't even sell out your own, your own area, and then you're going to be under a massive promoter. You're going to fight an undercard, so you no longer are going to be a big shot. If Kell Brook joins the welterweight scene with Al Haymon, will he be a big shot, or will he just be another fighter in the mix?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? It's you're gonna make some real money. But I think you look at Peter Quillen. What's happened to him? Like,
there you go.
Do you know what I mean? It's just.
What about Andrade? Is he Al Haymon as well? Was he top ranked?
No, he's top ranked. I'm pretty sure he's top ranked. I'm not sure. He's got all sorts of things going on though. Andrade, he's blaming everyone but himself for all the fights he's not getting. But yeah, I've tried to speak to Andrade, but I haven't had a chance. So yeah, it's interesting. I personally, I've had some big issues with Al Haymon. I think the PBC thing's great. There's some big issues. First of all, they're not. You look at the way HBO puts on a fight, and you look on, and I'm not buying this. Oh, they've only just started doing it. This is professional television makers. This is, there's millions of pounds in a budget, or maybe not a million. Do you know what I mean? This is. And everyone said Al Haymon's did Motown. He used to be putting on concerts, putting on a show. I don't know, what was it? The ring walks? What's going on there?
Okay, all right, okay. Now,
not impressed.
Let's break this down. Al Haymon's the man getting the big TV deals, right?
Yeah.
He can't do everything. And if he did, then I'd be thanking Al Haymon now, because Al Haymon would be God. And to some people, Al Haymon is God. Now, what Al Haymon's done to get all those TV networks together is an amazing thing.
Oh yeah,
What we need to be looking at is who is doing the TV productions. A, B, who is the research manager, or whoever it is that thinks that PBC, the way it's visually seen, is that somebody's vision. That's somebody's vision. That's absolutely somebody's vision there. And he's left somebody in charge to deal with that. And whoever's dealing with that, the visuals of PBC, there must be a reason why they're either so woeful, or maybe they want to create their own brand. And because we're so used to seeing HBO, Showtime, they just want to create their own brand, which is shocking at the moment. I agree. Yeah. It's almost gut-wrenching seeing people walking down that ramp. You're touching gloves with fans, and it's almost sort of like they're going to do a book signing.
Of low-level WWF events.
The next thing we want is just a talent.
In the early 90s, we're talking as well, when I used to watch.
Yeah. When you just see one of those things come up with him, with somebody shouting out, Keith Thurman shouting out something to say, Floyd, I want you next. Floyd, I want you next. And you've got Floyd in the ring, like they're going says, at the end of the day, pay-per-view and Floyd Mayweather and pay-per-view buys and the best ever, and you can have Thurman running down to the ring, Floyd, don't touch me. Son, don't duck me.
They need to do something.
It is cringeworthy. I think someone somewhere has been watching a bit of too much WWE, and I think they're getting the ideas from there. And if you think about the way the WWE is structured and the way PBC's been structured, they're going down that route big time, and it's worrying. I'm just waiting for the call-outs
about it as well. The UFC's a similar model, isn't it?
I'm just wait for it. Just wait for the call-outs via the big screen.
Yeah,
it's coming.
I can see. It's going to be interesting how this all pans out. This thing, and where do you stand? We were talking earlier about Golovkin Lemieux being made.
Yes.
Great interview with Abel Sanchez. People should go and check that out. A lot of people are quite surprised. Is this what people like Golden Boy main events, Top Rank have to do? They have to just do everything, make these people fight each other. This is in a way they're kind of kicking each other up the arse. Do you know what I mean?
I think because of Al Haymon, they must have thought, you know what, we can't afford to be playing the full. We better take this fight with Golovkin, or Golovkin's people say, we better take Lemieux, because there's 2 titles there.
Yeah. 2
titles to get their hands on, and Golovkin is not with. He's with who's Golovkin with again?
He's with Tom Loeffler.
Tom Loeffler. That's but which
he has a contract with HBO.
Is that Top Rank though? Is he a Top Rank fighter? Is he?
They're all on HBO now. Golden Boy, Top Rank, and
Golden Boy. So so in that case then.
Lemieux, sorry, Lemieux's Golden Boy, sorry, yeah.
So in that case then they've got they'll have a double, whatever happens at the end, unless it's a draw. There'll be then you can have Golovkin, Lemieux too. You've got a nice interesting situation, because you have a unified champion there, and then if that guy then moves on and fights the winner of Cotto Canelo for the Diva Championship of the world, if they can win that, because it's not the middleweight championship of the world, the catchweight championship, that's the first catchweight championship of the world, isn't it? Yeah, so
proud.
I mean, like I said, I think that Cotto could have fought Canelo at light middleweight and fought for Canelo's championship, but Cotto's a diva. That's not going to happen.
Cotto, mate. Cotto. I don't want to waste any time on Cotto. It's funny we're talking. I want to end on this. We're talking about the thing going on in America. Like if say you're a fighter. What weight did you fight at actually?
It would have been welterweight, light welter and welter, 63.5 kilograms.
Okay.
147 to be done. Be light welter. So that's 143, isn't it? I think.
Okay, so you're a welterweight.
Yeah.
Looking for someone to sign to. You're obviously going to go to Al Haymon because they've got most other than you've got Bradley, Pacquiao, Chavez. They're all kind of doing a little round robin thing. They're all going to fight each other at one point. Crawford's moved up to, kind of go towards that way. And then if you're a heavyweight, like Wilder, for instance, is this one of the reasons why he's not getting these big, decent fights? Because Al Haymon hasn't
can't fight.
Well,
if you can't fight, you've got to find a way to. How's the best way to keep you a champion and still make you marketable without getting you beat? You're doing damage limitation. It's got to be damage limitation. After you saw the Molina fight, would you stick him in with Povetkin tomorrow? You wouldn't.
No.
Would you stick him in with any of the top 5 heavyweights in the world? You wouldn't.
Okay. Okay, yeah. I agree. I do agree with you on that.
So the other thing is, even if you sign with Al Haymon, if you can't fight, you've got problems. Because what can also happen, if you sign with Al Haymon, there's nothing for Al Haymon to say, I want you to fight this guy next.
They have to sign
Whose career is he looking after? Is he looking after your career, or is he looking after somebody else's career? Are you cannon fodder for somebody else's career? Look, Eddie Chambers, he signed with Al Haymon. We're yet to hear of Eddie Chambers having a fight. Now, if Eddie Chambers was meant to fight Deontay Wilder, whose career is he looking after? Deontay Wilder's or Eddie Chambers?
Well, yeah, interesting. Well, if you're Eddie Chambers, you've just signed to Al Haymon, so who's available to you? You've got Tarver, Cunningham, Wilder. That's about it, isn't it? Really?
Absolutely.
You've got Areola, he's somewhere, Haymon, isn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, well, that's he's done.
I just thought Rickendale's probably going to sign with Al Haymon as well. That's what I heard.
Well, that's interesting because obviously there was talk of this Lomachenko fight.
Yeah.
And then obviously that's going to be done through Top Rank. So I think Top Rank were really trying to get that through, but then you don't know what's going on there. But yeah, Rickendale, I don't think Rickendale quite knows what's going on. I'll have to try and get.
And Amir Khan's a big name. He's a big name, but can't land a big fight.
He's clearly unhappy with things behind the scenes. You could tell that in the presser. What a slap in the face!
You think you're big balls. You think you're the man. You feel you're the man in the Mayweather sweepstakes. And who comes along right under you and decides and gets a fight? Andre Berto.
How long's been Khan going on about Mayweather for? It was since before the first Maidana fight, wasn't it? 'Cause he put out, which was ages ago. And
2013.
Shut up about it. He hasn't. Yeah. His mates just been like, all right, Amir, stop talking about the Mayweather fight. There's other things. Like, worry about, and he's obviously got very annoyed he never got the fight, so he's, you don't know what's going on.
They're going to leave Al Haymon. Where's he going to go to? Who's he going to go to? Top Rank and chase a fight with Pacquiao? Really? Who cares if he fights Pacquiao? Still not the number one man. It's not Mayweather.
No. I don't think Pacquiao's been lined up for Crawford anyway to take.
Yeah, you can tell that. That's probably the end of Pacquiao there, right there.
Yeah, Mr. Aram's been plotting that one for a pretty good few years. Yeah. Okay, mate. Well, brilliant. Well, I'm going to leave it at that. Well, thanks for coming on, mate.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And we'll catch up very soon.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks a lot.